We don't even give ourselves the opportunity to finish it because we're not starting it. What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be recording this video because this is a question that I get asked all the time, and it is how to get unstuck. Or a lot of clients come to me and they're like, I just feel so stuck. I know what I want to do, but I feel really stuck. And to be completely honest, that was the number one thing that was always holding me back too, especially when I first started my business, is I was always tossing around the word stuck. I'm stuck. I don't know how to get unstuck. So this video is going to take you through going through maybe for you to even recognize why you're stuck, and then how to move past it and how to get unstuck. Okay, so one reason why you might be feeling really stuck is because you have this really big idea and you're really overwhelmed by it and you don't know how to go about tackling it, or you think that there's so many steps between where you're at now and where your end goal is that it just completely paralyzes you and stops you in your tracks and you don't take any action. Another reason that you might be feeling really stuck is because you have so many options, or you have so many different ideas, and you don't know which one you should do. You don't know which one's going to bring you the most joy, or which one's going to be most successful, or which one you're supposed to do, that you're being so overwhelmed, like I said before, that you don't know which one to do. And again, because when we're unclear and we're uncertain, that's when we stop and we feel stuck, because we feel like we have so many options and we feel like we could go down so many paths, or we feel like we could connect with so many people or do so many different things. And that can be really overwhelming for us. And how are we able to start something where we don't know where we're going to end up taking it? So it's like a GPS. If you turn your GPS on, but you don't know the destination you want to get to, your GPS isn't going to tell you where to go or how to get there. It's just going to be an open GPS kind of following you around wherever it is that you're going. Another reason that you might be feeling really stuck is because you're comparing yourself a lot. And this can be really hard, especially in the online world, because we see what one person is doing and we want to do that, but we're comparing where they're at now. So that could be like their chapter 50 to our beginning of our chapter 1. And we compare it and they seem like so far and away, and you wonder how you can get there and you wonder what you can do to be that. And you're stuck in this comparison game instead of focusing on where you're at now versus what they're doing and where they're going. So sometimes we need to bring it back into ourselves and say, okay, what is it that I can start doing for myself today, instead of focusing on what that person is doing who has been doing this for months or years or however long that they've been doing it for. We get really overwhelmed with what all these other people are doing or where they're at, and we think that's where we should be at, or oh my gosh, that's a huge goal to get to that point. But it's not doing us any good to be focusing on that. I think it's okay to be inspired by other people as long as that inspiration leads to taking inspired action. But if comparing yourself or looking at other people and what they're doing is going to stop you or make you feel insecure or make you feel like you're not ready or make you feel like you have imposter syndrome, it's not doing you any good. So make sure if you're looking at those other people who are doing it, you're only feeling inspired by them. So if at any point you're following these people and you're feeling kind of self-conscious, or you feel like you are questioning your self-worth, then unfollow them. I promise you there's no hard feelings ever when it comes to unfollowing people. And if they are, then they're thinking about the wrong things anyway. So I promise you, do yourself a favor. Instead of allowing this to hold you back, take control of the situation and unfollow the people that are no longer serving you or that are triggering you or making you feel a certain way, and focus on you and what you're trying to do. And this is probably the most common one, is that we are so focused on being perfect, and maybe you're shooting for that perfection, or you're waiting for the right time or the right moment, or I'm waiting till I feel ready. But the truth is, it's never gonna happen. So if you have this idea, or you have this message to share, or this business you want to start, or this new thing that you want to do, and you're waiting until you're ready, or you're waiting for it to be perfect, I'm using air quotes because that's never going to happen. If you ask anyone and everyone, I'm sure, there's no right time to start a business. That's just a condition we place on it. So once we feel ready, which you won't, you're going to find a new condition or a new excuse to put onto it that's just going to hold you back. So instead, get rid of that perfection and strive for progress, or strive for taking action, taking messy action and figuring it out as you go. That's going to be huge in any endeavor that you do, and you kind of perfect things as you go along. I do think that there is a strategic way to go about starting something or launching something. So with that being said, I'm not saying that you should just go and like tell everyone everything and go and post about everything and do all this stuff right away just because you feel like no one's going to be ready, so I'm just doing it now. That's more so a mindset shift that we need to take into consideration. Say, okay, yes, I'm doing this. I'm making that decision to do this. Here's how I'm going to do it. And we plan accordingly. We take all the opportunities that we can. We strategically do it for the best impact or the best results out of it. So make sure that you're taking that into consideration and you're not just like, Daniela told me to quit my job and told me to start a business. And I'm like, okay, yes, that's amazing if that's what you want to do, but let's think about it and make it the best way possible rather than just jumping into it without a second thought. But hey, if you want to quit your job, I'm all for it. Let's just talk about it a little bit more to make sure that you're doing it in the right way. Just because I want you to be able to do this with the most opportunities and not feel stressed and overwhelmed if you ever hit a speed bump in the future. Okay, so how do you actually get unstuck? I talked a little bit about taking messy action, and this is huge because it's great to have these big goals and dreams. It's a huge part of being an entrepreneur or honestly just living a really fulfilled life, an intentional life, is by having these big goals. That way we have something to reach for. We have something to reach towards. So with this comes a lot of visualization, a lot of writing down your goals, manifesting, attracting, and working hard, right? So if you have this big end goal that you want, or maybe you're just looking to start an online business, but you're just not sure what it is. And one of the things that I had talked about why you're feeling stuck is because you have this big vision and you're so paralyzed by how to even get there because of all of these in-between steps, and you don't know where to start, you don't know what's the right way, all of these limiting beliefs that come up. So instead of going straight to just what is that one big end goal, it's great to have it as a big umbrella, but then from there, I want you to kind of work backwards a little bit and say, okay, well, what's one thing I can do today that's going to move me one step closer towards that goal? So for example, if you have a personal goal of losing 50 pounds and you're like, how can I lose 50 pounds? This is so overwhelming. I have to change what I eat. I have to work out. I have to cut this out. I have to go here. I have to do this. I have to sign up for that. I have to hire a coach. Like, all of those things become very overwhelming, especially when you have a big goal of wanting to lose 50 pounds. So instead of stressing out about all of that, choose one thing you can do today and become really good at that. So that might look like for you going for a walk every single day or researching coaches that can help you get one step closer. Something really small and tangible that we can do that's gonna almost give us that instant win, so that way we feel really productive. And I was listening to a podcast and the speaker had said, we just need to start doing things. Like, we have these big goals, or even if it's a small goal, like, we get so stuck by this idea of completing a goal or finishing something, and we don't even give ourselves the opportunity to finish it because we're not starting it, right? And something that he was saying is like, okay, if you have resistance around flossing your teeth, if you just say, I'm gonna floss one tooth and just do that, there's no way you're not gonna finish flossing the rest of your teeth, right? Like, imagine like flossing one tooth and be like, okay, that's it. Like, you would feel so like confused or conflicted or just uncomfortable because you're like, I'm here, I might as well just do the other ones, right? Or if you're reading a book and you say, okay, I'm just gonna read one page. It's rare that you're gonna read that one page and close the book up. You might read a few more pages, or you might finish that chapter. Just starting is gonna be the biggest piece when it comes to getting unstuck in any area. So again, if you're starting a business, so this might look like researching a couple of other businesses, or researching how to start a business and just reading some stuff online, listening to some podcasts. Taking that first initial step is going to put you in that zone of taking that messy action and get you out of this stuck feeling. A lot of other pieces fall into place. So you try something one way and celebrate yourself for being able to put yourself out there and try it, or taking that action, and you realize, okay, this worked really well. This didn't work. I actually didn't like the way that felt, or this person gave me really good feedback here. And you'll start piecing these pieces together to make it so you're more comfortable with taking messy action. So it can be really uncomfortable at first, but again, the only way that you're gonna feel comfortable and confident doing it is by actually taking that messy action, right? So we need to push through that resistance. We need to push through that perfectionism, because it's not gonna do us any good, and it's just gonna keep halting us in our tracks. And I want you to move forward. I want you to take the action. I promise you, everyone has a beginning. And regardless of if you're in your business and you're just feeling stuck, entertain your mind, follow that curiosity, see what else is out there, see if there's a way you can pivot your business or do something differently and see what comes up, because you might realize that it's just that little bit of creativity or inspiration or freedom that you need to get you back on track. Or you might be like, actually, I'm completely pivoting and doing something completely different, and that's okay. But if we don't explore that curiosity or that little like fire in our soul, then we're never gonna know, and we're gonna continually feel stuck until we just quit altogether. And I don't want that to happen to you. Another thing that I love doing for myself, and honestly I tell all of my clients to do this as well, is if you're starting something new and you're feeling stuck on how to even get started or actually do it, go back to the people that you admire most or that you look up to the most and go back to their very first thing that they did. So this could be an Instagram post or a YouTube video or a podcast episode or the first offer that they ever had, and go back and kind of just see the progression that they've had or the progress they've made, and that can kind of help show you the overall like high level view of things rather than looking so closely. And when I say that, I mean we only see what's happening now when people are posting, right? We see the newest YouTube video, we see the newest podcast, the newest Instagram account, and all of that old stuff kind of gets pushed to the bottom. I mean, that naturally is going to happen. So if we're able to go back to the beginning and kind of see where they started, what they've changed, how they've modified, how they've grown, the confidence that they've built, that can help us with ourselves do that. So I did this when I first started this YouTube channel, when I first started my podcast, and I was really stuck on that first video or that first podcast episode I was going to create. So I went back to all of the people that I look up to and that I really love their stuff, and I'd go back and I'd watch their first video. And normally the audio is really crappy and the video is really crappy, or it's kind of all over the place and it doesn't really make sense, or you can hear the shakiness in their voice. And that just gives me a sense of peace knowing that they started from somewhere too, and I'm just at that part of my journey. But the beautiful thing is that there's so much opportunity after the fact. As long as I'm consistent and I'm putting myself out there and I'm trying different things and I'm giving myself grace and I'm really acting on that inspiration, then I know that the opportunities are honestly endless for me. So you just have to be willing to mess some things up or not love everything that you're putting out there, and perfecting as you go and as you get this feedback. And understanding that failure isn't really failure, right? Failure is pretty much just feedback. So if you look at that, the only way you can actually fail is if you completely stop doing something and you're like, I'm done with it. Even then though, you might fail and you might actually decide you don't want to do it, but that was actually a positive feedback because you realize it's not what you love doing anymore. Otherwise, any failure that you have is just going to be positive feedback for you to change and alter and adapt. I'm so excited because I have this new course coming out, so if you want to get on the waiting list, I'm going to leave a link in the description box, and be sure to put your email in, that way you're the first to know when it goes live. But essentially, the course is going to be on mindset and marketing, so it's really how to sell on social media, but it's mastering that art of your mindset, which is a lot of the things we talked about in today's video, while also implementing a lot of that marketing, social media captions, engagement, stuff like that online. So if you're wanting help in those two areas, be sure to sign up for the waiting list. Obviously, there's no like strings attached with the waiting list. It's just that you're the first to know, and you'll get like VIP access to the course when it does launch, and you'll be in the know as it continues to grow and all that stuff. So I want to know if this video helped at all. So let me know in the comments if you feel like anything has helped, or if you feel really stuck on something, or if you need a little bit of extra guidance, let me know. If you liked it, please give it a like, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm posting every single Friday, and find me on Instagram because I want to connect with you guys on a more personal level, and I want to see what you guys are up to too. Another reason that you might be feeling really stuck is because you're comparing yourself. What's this hair? Like, what's everyone? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is good.